Hi all, welcome to Wednesday's Stay at Home Art Club. Today we're going to be looking at food. So I'm going to show you lots of different artists who have had lots of different approaches. Then I'm going to leave it up to you to see what you want to do with that. We're going to start by looking at this Japanese chef guy called ITSUO KOBAYASHI, who drew his lunch every day for 32 years. And there's a really big culture of eating out in Japan because the food is delicious and tasty and cheap. So he's eaten quite a wide range of things and drawn them very beautifully. So there's a link below to an article about him if you want to learn more. But here's some pictures of what he's done. So those illustrations look amazing. They seem to all be in a sketchbook with some different bits popping up. I really like how he's got all the notes beside him and noted different bits about maybe how much it was, how things were cooked, because he was a chef, so he's probably quite interested in all that. So now we're going to go back in time a bit in art history and food, and we're going to look at some still lifes from the Dutch masters, which I guarantee you will have seen some of these. So have a look at these and then we'll talk a bit about them. So they were bountiful, I think is the word. Was a big explosion of food, often on quite a dark background. The thing that you really got to remember about these was at the time, Holland, and particularly Amsterdam, was a big trading hub. They were kind of masters of the seas and had all these different colonies where they could get lots of different exotic products from. So a lot of these paintings were about showing off how rich you are. So hence all the exotic fruits and everything all laid out. Like, I've got loads of food, I'm doing really well. Which quite frankly ruins these paintings for me. So if you want to put that from your mind for now, on you go. Obviously this was a time before photography, so everything is super realistic. There's quite a pronounced use of light. There's kind of like light glinting off the dew on the food just to make it look extra delicious. So a lot of this these paintings are about kind of like power, wealth, being able to show that off, luxury, excess. So there's quite a lot going on with them, but they're also quite nice to look at. So I think a good thing to look at moving on from them is hyper-realistic painting. So that's paintings that people are doing now that are really big and they look like a photograph. It's very hard to tell if they are a photograph or not. They're often huge and very detailed. So the next artist is still working in that style. I'm not going to try and pronounce his name. So I put those pictures in quite a specific order, with the first one kind of mirroring that Dutch master. It's the fruit sundae, it's gorgeous, all the fruit is glistening, and you look like you just reach out and grab a berry, it's very inviting. Ditto the fried egg, looks pretty perfect to me. I'd love to cover that in ketchup and eat it right now. But then he's also done some food which is maybe less aesthetically pleasing, and maybe that you wouldn't be as likely to take a picture of for Instagram, where the apple that's half eaten, and also the grotty cheese sandwich, which I think one is cheese and one is chocolate sprinkles, which is very, very Dutch, a sprinkle sandwich. So I think it's interesting to look at the way he's used the same style on some very different subjects. This style is still very popular. If you're going to attempt it, I would recommend doing one piece of food rather than attempting a fruit salad, so otherwise you'll probably still be doing it in 10 years because it does take a very long time. So the next thing we're going to be looking at is a marriage made in heaven, which is pop art and food. A lot of these artists you'll probably already know. We've had a look at them in class before, so have a look at these. So pop art comes from popular culture, and what is more popular than food? So we had quite a few different examples there. My favourite one is the Klaus Oldenburg sculptures, so we're probably not going to be able to make these at home, but they're still pretty cool to look at. I really like the ice cream on the building. One of my favourites is also that really close up of the spaghetti with the fork, and it really makes me want spaghetti hoops. And also by the same artist, James Rosenquist, the bread and butter, because I love nothing more than a margarine sandwich. So pop art was really inspired by kind of mass production and advertising at that point. So you'll really notice that the colours are very reminiscent of 50s and 60s ad copy. The colours are really bright, really saturated, and you might not fully associate it with the natural colours of food. Everything was very glossy and very intense. Let's have a look at some of that advertising from that time, which I actually like more than the pop art that came after it. I think the advertising in itself is just mwah. It's great, it's hilarious. So let's have a look at these. I love those. They're just so, I don't even know the words. So a lot of the food looks really unhealthy. It's all kind of that time when everything's getting super mass produced and they're creating all these new things that might not be food, like the meatballs in the can. My favourite one there is the raisins. Like, what is going on there? Why are you putting raisins in your beans? Why are you putting raisins on your burger? Very odd. But it's still got that quality of light that you can see from those Dutch masters' paintings. Everything's glinting, everything's shiny, it's all in big piles, it's very bountiful. You want to eat it, even though you know it's bad for you. There's especially the spaghetti just works so well for this, which I suspect is why they did that painting for it. I love these. Maybe you want to make up your own food advert or something. I think that's quite a good idea. So those ads were great, but now let's look at some of the creme de la creme of strange advertising from magazines, which of course I am talking about the jelly, or brackets jello, advertising, which I think is from the 70s, I'm not entirely sure, but this is, I think, maybe the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I just love those. I love the shine on them. I love the crazy colours. I love the olives in lime jelly. I love the shapes. There's just like towering, wobbly joy. So these have kind of got that extra element of it looks gorgeous and I want to eat it, but I look at it and I see that there's olives and tuna and it's meant to be lime, so I don't want to eat it. I think these are some of the most gorgeous things to draw because they've got that kind of attraction repulsion thing going on, as well as some fabulous colours and shapes. Moving from that surreal food to the king of surrealism, let's have a look at Salvador Dali's cookbook. So he made a cookbook, I think it's just called the Surrealist Cookbook, where he's done lots of collages of drawings of some very elaborate dinners, let's just say. If you're quite squeamish, I maybe would look at it because there's a lot of meat and kind of gushy blood and frogs being eaten. So I'm not a super fan, but it is very interesting to look at. So let's have a look at some of his more PG illustrations. He's a strange man, Dali, isn't he? Gets up to all sorts of weird stuff. So those are quite strange. You can try copying small sections of them if you want, or making up your own. If you're still getting any strange junk mail through your letterbox, as I am, once you've left it for a little bit, you can cut them up, and they're quite good to make kind of versions of the Dali things in because they've got lots of pictures of nice, brightly coloured food. So now we're going to get back to some more traditional things. We're going to look at some paintings. A lot of these paintings have a lot of really nice texture in them, so if you've got some oil paints or lots of acrylic at home, these are really good to look at. So I think those are really nice paintings for their simplicity. A lot of them are on quite plain backgrounds with kind of different colours worked through the white, which I really enjoy doing when I'm painting. They've also got really nice texture in there, and the artists have created a lot of solidness without using too much detail, if that makes sense. The texture of the paint does it for them. I think the way these pictures are set out look quite eerie as well. I don't know if it's kind of because they're so bright and sparse, but I think the food looks quite lonely, maybe because it's not on a plate. So maybe if you want to do a bit of a strange painting, you can have a singular food like that. Especially the eggs. I really like the eggs, even though I don't like eggs. I quite like that painting. But there is something quite haunting about them. Couldn't tell you why. Well, for me anyway. What do you think? So I thought we'd finish up with some more classic illustration. So have a look at these. So I really quite like the one, particularly with the burnt toast. I think that's really nice. But a lot of these are just straightforward, drawing the food in front of you as it is. A lot of this food, it really looks like there's somebody, you feel like there's somebody interacting with it in the picture, unlike the last ones where the food seemed lonely. This one feels like somebody's like, yes, I'm gonna eat that. And they're kind of drawn to make your mouth water and make you want to eat it. They're kind of set out like somebody's using them as well. There's a knife in use, there's a fork in use, there's mess around. It kind of implies that somebody's been fiddling with it. Yeah, I think these have got a nice energy about them, and that they're not too perfect or realistic, but there's a nice style there. So we've looked at lots of different examples of different artists working with food today. So it could be that you've just enjoyed watching the video and now you're gonna go do something else. But if you want to do some food related art, let's have a wee think about how we can do that. So first things first, you could draw what you're gonna have for lunch. You could do it a bit like our first artist we looked at and kind of give it lots of labels with maybe how you've cooked it, where you are, how you're feeling today, bit of a kind of a more diary style. You could do a bit of a zoom in, do a real close up, make it quite pop arty. That could be quite nice. You could just draw one of your favourite foods from your mind. You could do a wee still life. Or you could go for something a bit more surreal and make up a banquet or make your own food or draw your own crazy jello creation. I think that's what I'd like to do. Okay, so I'll put the, because I've just been rambling there, but I'll put a wee list of them up to maybe give you some ideas. Alright guys, I hope you have enjoyed this food video and can maybe go and make some food related art, or maybe just go and have some toast. Today's joke is, what happened when there was an explosion in the French cheese factory? All that was left was debris. I know, that's no, who knows. Anyway, have a lovely, delicious day. See you soon. Take care. Enjoy the sunshine in a safe and responsible manner.